I'm giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem, Shai Bashem, Rakakodah, Shalom to the 144,000. The rest of the elect out there, Shalom to you all. I'm going to make this real quick, super quick. Let's see where the Spirit leads me. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video, Understanding the Term Hyperinflation. So I'll give you a perfect example. Or I may change the title, let's see, to We Will Experience Hyperinflation in the Near Future. Let's see where it go with that. Anyway, I looked up the word hyperinflation. Now, you heard the word inflation, and we are experiencing inflation, which is a rise in prices across the board. Buy bread, buy meat, buy this, buy a car, buy a house, go to the movies, wherever you go, where you use money, prices have gone up across the board. Some 20%, some 30%. Tariffs, same thing with Trump with his call for a tariff against these nations, pretty much all nations outside of the U.S. that do trade with the U.S., that export things to the U.S. So these other nations retaliated with their own tariff, and it's going to end. It's going to be ugly. Now Trump is backtracking. He's trying to work things out. He has to go to China or have the Chinese emperor. He is the emperor. He's not. He's a president for life. So he is the emperor, which is Latin for commander. So the emperor has to either come over here, which he doesn't have to. More so, Trump will have to go over there and kiss his ass, get everything back to normal. Prices won't go crazy. So if he stands his ground, China's going to stand their ground, as I did in previous videos, or a previous video I did yesterday. So this is what he has to do. He has to get everything back to normal. Make prices stable, and then start to bring prices down. But anyway, so if he doesn't do that, we will suffer a thing called hyperinflation. And hyperinflation, if you go to the Weimar Republic, that was after post World War I, and it was over reparations. Germany lost the war, and they had to pay reparations to build back these other nations they fought against. U.S. was one of the nations, and you had other European nations that fought against Germany. Germany, believe it or not, is now a member of NATO, and I believe the EU. I don't know if they're still a member of the EU. So they had to pay reparations. Like Jake is looking to get reparations. If the U.S. gives you reparations, and reparations would be something like for every Jake, former slave or whatever, American citizen that's been here for 4 or 5 generations or whatever, descendants of slaves. That's what Tariq Nasheed, FBA, Foundation of Black Americans. And anyway, my estimate, they say there's like 40 million of us. Let's say there's 50 million. You got about 350 million so-called Americans in this country, right? So we would represent what percentage? Something like 12% or so, 13%. You do the math. But anyway, if they was to really give us reparation, they would have to give us something like $1 million for each of us every year for the next 50 years. So that's $50 million times uh, 50 million. You do the math, that's a lot of money. Matter of fact. So you're not gonna get reparations, because reparations will lead to hyperinflation. But if Trump doesn't do anything, we're gonna suffer either hyperinflation or total depression. It's gonna end bad unless he makes some steps. But ultimately, this man's going down any goddamn way. So no matter what he does, was it saying Amos 5? I'll get that in a minute. But where did I say I was gonna go? Oh, calculator. Calculator. So that's $1 million a year for 50 million Jakes. That's $1 million times 50. That's 50 million. Hundreds, thousands, millions, billions. That's 50 trillion for 50 years times 50. 100,000, millions, billions, trillions, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, quintillions. One quintillion is 1,000 trillion. So we're talking about 2,000 trillion. But let's go back. What was it? What was the math? Let me do this again. Give me a second. $1 million times 50 million, hundreds, thousands, millions, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillion. 50. That's 50 trillion. 50 trillion. That's for 1 year. No, hey, if they do that, because anything less than $1 million a year for 50 years it's an insult. So they know they can't do it. They just can't tell Tariq they're not going to do it. They are not going to do it. So anyway, let's read this. Hyperinflation in Germany. History repeats itself, particularly during, and the American people, U.S. citizens, don't understand how, politics and money works. When you compare gold and silver to paper dollars, they just don't understand. Hyperinflation in Germany, particularly during the Weimar Republic. This is This is when Hitler was a young man, and this was after the war ended. World War I ended in 1919. I'm sorry. Republic, and this is why they embraced Hitler, because he came with putting the nation back together. Republic in the 1920s was a multifaceted crisis, with the Treaty of Versailles playing a key role. The treaty imposed on Germany after World War I demanded hefty reparations. And the only way you can get reparation is you got to go outside of the country. And that's never going to happen. You're not going to, you don't hold your breath. You're not going to get any reparations from this country. Trust me. They ain't going to start giving Negroes a check for $1 million every year. And most Jakes are going to fuck it up. A lot of Jakes will do, a certain percentage will do the right thing. A lot of smart, highly educated Jakes out there. And, if let's say there's 60% of educated Jakes that know money and got their heads screwed on right, they will totally completely take over this country like they did the Roman Empire. The first Jake that came into power was, and I always say this, what was his name? Domitian, what was his name? Nerva? I believe it was Nerva. He was the first Jake. And it was him and the next four were considered the good emperors. They were Jakes. One of them was Marcus Aurelius. He was a Jake. So we took over the Roman Empire. So they have the history on it. So they said, well, look, we got to do something because they're gonna wind up taking our kingdom over again. But it's not gonna happen. The kingdom is gonna come. It says creating a significant strain on the German economy. So they had to print money. That back then they were printing money. Now they print money and they put extra zeros behind the one on a central Federal Reserve computer, where the U.S. borrows money from the feds. That's a whole nother topic, and they got to pay it back. That's this whole debt, the debt clock, 36, almost 37 trillion. This is owed to the feds, and it's really 200 plus trillion. Somebody who said this, I think it was Robert Kawasaki, if I'm saying his name right. I believe he said it was like, I've been said it was 200 plus trillion. I believe he said it was 260 trillion. That's the real number. So you're never going to pay it. Strain on the German economy. So when you look at documents of the Weimar Republic and this thing called hyperinflation, now you know why it happened. They had to pay off them countries because they were the country that lost. They did the same thing. The French sued Haiti. The Haitian Revolution, the French-Haitian Revolution. The Haitian people kicked out the French, and you know what they did? They went to I forget what the court. It was a world court, and they said, "Oh, you gotta pay reparations because you defeated the French." It says this coupled with other factors like the French and Belgium occupation of Ruhr, whatever this is, I gotta look this up, region. The passive resistance of German workers, and the printing of money to finance the war and cover debts. That's why you have a year of release every 7 years, and you have a jubilee year every 7 years. 7 times 7, which is 49 years. 49 year going to 50 years is a jubilee where all debts are erased. So this is why this is why the U.S., according to the debt clock, is almost 37 trillion. It's more than that. I said it's over 2 trillion. This would not happen if you did it's called a reset. Year of release every 7 years, year jubilee every 7 years times 7, 49 going into the 50 year, like I said. And the printing of money to finance the war and cover debts contributed to a rapid devaluation of the German currency and the resulting hyperinflation. People are saying, "Oh, gold went up 3,000." Right now, it's let me check gold. Let me just check gold right now. Okay, so 3,223. Let me refresh that. Then I'm gonna go on this. I'm gonna give you some precepts. I'm going to the word gold. Okay, so right now I don't see it going back down to 2,900 anytime soon. I mean, it can, but it'll go back up. You know, it's not. You're not gonna ever see gold at $1,000 at any time soon. Silver is pretty much the same. I see silver going up, shooting up, peaking, which is I call silver the poor man's gold. Let me see. Let me come back over here. Where am I? So anyway, real money is gold and silver. I've been telling y'all that. I'm just putting the word gold. Typing the word gold. Gold stands the test of time. They'll tell you, and gold investment people will tell you, gold is a hedge against inflation. Look that up. Gold is found in the scriptures 417 times and 361 verses. Let's see if it's mentioned in the Old and Testament. It's mentioned in the Old and New Testament. First time gold is mentioned, right, before rivers, Pison, compares the whole land of Havilah, which is Arabia, where there is gold and oil. And Abraham was very rich in cattle and silver and gold. If he had cattle, he had land. Land is wealth. Gold and silver is money. Cattle is wealth. And by the way, he gave the first tithes was given to Melchizedek by Abraham, Abraham, and he gave him 10% of all that he had. So what did he have? He had land, he had cattle, he had gold and silver. So what did Melchizedek get? 10% of everything that he had. So don't listen to Nate when he said, "Oh, they didn't deal with money." Yes, they did. They dealt with other things. You're right on that. They dealt with cattle and wheat and so forth. But they also dealt with silver. That's why when they Titus entered into the temple and went into the treasury, what did they take from them? They didn't take wheat and corn. They took the gold and the silver. The treasury. That when you go back to the Apocrypha, what's the individual's name? He did it for Antiochus Epiphanes' uncle. I forget his name. Somebody help me out. And the two angels came, and you know what I'm gonna do? No, I don't got to do that. Somebody just put it up in there. I'm not gonna look for it. And beat him within an inch of his life. They beat him. The angels were instructed to just beat the hell out of him. These two angels came down and beat the hell out of him, but didn't kill him. So Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua said, "Yeah, beat the hell out of him, but don't kill him, because I want to, I want to set an example, But anyway, I mean, you can go through these scriptures to show you the importance of gold. And then most of the time when you come across the word gold in the scriptures, you're going to also come across the word silver. Silver and in gold. Shekel. 10 shekels weight of gold. That's a lot of gold. Oh, if you raped a Hebrew girl that was not engaged or married, you had to pay a lot. I put the math together. It was, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was like something like $50,000, maybe even more than that. So if you raped a girl, a Hebrew, you better make sure you were rich. But that's something that you shouldn't do because it's dishonoring the father. But the penalty is not death. The penalty is you had to take her. You got tired of her. Too bad. She's going to be your wife until either you die or she dies. Now we are going to have gold in the kingdom. Let me go to that. I believe that's Isaiah 60. If not Isaiah, it's Isaiah 60, if I'm not mistaken. If not 60, it's 61. Give me a second. Okay, it was 60. Let me start at 14. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. That's slavery. That's slavery. That's slavery, vocab. And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. The word blessing means somebody that bows down to you. Somebody that bows down to you and kisses your ring. That the one that's doing the bowing is not the blessed one. The one that's standing up, he's being blessed. Floyd Mayweather is not blessed. He got a lot of money, but he's not blessed because they talk shit about him. So through thy seed shall all the families be blessed. It's talking about all the families of Israel because the other nations are going to bow down to the Israelites. That's when the blessing comes in. Or bow down themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of Yahweh, the Zion of the Holy One of Yasha'Allah, the Tazayawan, which is righteousness. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated. Who hated you? The Most High. He hated you. Turned his back. The hell with y'all. And the enemies that he sent against us, they hated us. Esau hates us, so that no man went through thee. I will make thee an eternal excellency. Who is he going to make an eternal excellency? The Israelites. And not one Israelite is going to burn in hell, period. They ain't going to do a day of hell. First of all, there's no such thing as hell. That's a Roman Catholic concept that they got from the Greeks. Greek mythology. Excellency, and what's a fair tactic. A joy of many generations. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, meaning milk come from cows. Cows have land. You're going to take their land. You're going to take what they have. Their riches. Part of your riches is your cattle. And shall suck the breasts of kings. And that's talking about what they have. We're going to take everything that they got. And thou shalt know that I, Yahweh, am the Savior and the Redeemer to buy back. No man shall save you. Deuteronomy 28:68. The mighty one of Yahweh. The mighty one of Yahweh is the Heavenly Father, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. For brass, I will bring gold. Do you know how much brass there is in the world? There's tons and tons and tons of brass. So as much brass is out there, you're going to have gold. And for iron, I will bring silver. There's a lot of iron ore. So in the kingdom, we're going to be dealing with gold and silver. And cattle. Land flowing with milk and honey. That's going to be the kingdom on earth. And for wood, brass, and for stones, iron, I will also make thy officers peace. Jake be killing each other. They're fucked up in. All these jakes, most jakes need to be in a fucking insane asylum. And that start, the first people that should be in that insane asylum is your woman. The 99% of them are bugged out in the fuck. They got mental issues, man. They got heavy demons on them. Think about the scene in Conan the Barbarian where Arnold was laying down with the woman and she turned into a bat or something and she was a demon. Well, guess what? That's your woman. And one day she'd be all in love with you. The next day she's ready to kill you. Brother, I know. Hey, I'll give you a little story of General Yohana. He had this fine-ass Simeonite chick, right? You know, this chick was fine. And we told him, he said, you know that she got a demon on her. I said, you know that demon gonna come out sooner or later. And one day she lost it. She turned into Satan on this dude. That relationship. Hey, if Johanna remember, you know, but it was funny because we told him. He said, "Look, that woman's too goddamn fine. She got multiple demons on her, and they're gonna react. They're gonna get you. You better be careful, man. You better have your guard up." So all your women have they possess demons on them. Now, can you have a woman that's an unbeliever? Yes. But you better watch it. You better sleep with one eye open. And that's the one and that's the ones that believe. Those are worse than the ones that unbelieve, that don't believe. I will also and they're worse than the Edomite woman. You know, all these jakes that play for the NFL or whatever, they get with Edomites. They have a beautiful, lasting relationship. It's very rare that Edomite woman, because an Edomite woman knows how to contain them demons, put them in order. A black woman is controlled by the demon. I will also make thy officers peace and thy exactors righteousness. I'm gonna look up the word exactors. Now, why do Jake men blow each other away? Because they want everything fast and they're emotional because they grow up in a single family household with the mother. So all they know is what the mother and the sister does, which they react by emotions. You know? So they want the money fast, they want everything fast because they're great. They don't learn the work ethic. A good hard days of work and you get rewarded by getting paid for it. But now the pay that you get is bullshit money. It says, violence shall no more be heard in thy land. Because these gremlins among our people, the Most High, they're not coming to the wilderness, man. The rebels that we're going to find in the wilderness are the ones that were not in America, because the wilderness is obviously going to be outside of America. So you're going to have Jakes and the different tribes. They're going to buck up against what you're teaching. A perfect example out there in Kenya. You went to them people out there. Some of them were Hamites, some of them were Jake. They wasn't having that. They just say you saying we don't got a white Jesus? Are you kidding me? Pick up them stones. You had no business being out there, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. But thou shalt call thy wall salvation and thy gates praise. The sun shall be no more thy light by day, neither. Now we are going to have a sun and a moon. This is parabolic talk. This is symbolic. It's referring to knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. It's not talking about, in the kingdom of heaven, it's just going to be dark. It's going to be black. There ain't going to be no stars. There ain't going to be no sun. Sometimes the scriptures speak in a symbolic way. Anyway, this is the kingdom. And the kingdom is going to be on earth. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom on to the next shalom.